Alright, so we are going to start off today by doing some Hallowed Sepulchre, or Sepulchre, depending on where you're from in the world. And if you don't have any of the teleports, the easiest way to get there is to use the Dragon's Medallion to go to Darkmire. You do need Sins of the Father completed. You don't need the new Blood Moon Rises quest done. That just makes these vampires not aggro. If you don't have that done, or at least partially done, just wear your Vire Noble gear, and they won't be aggressive to you. But if you go north all the way up here, and then go all the way to the east, you'll see this little tomb fenced in with some flowers around it. It is a little bit of Saradomin in the middle of Darkmire. You can actually see Saradomin's symbol above it, and this is where the agility course is. You can also find an agility shortcut right here. So you do need to put ropes here as well. This is for doing clue hunting and etc. as well. So that is also a possibility, and you would use the first teleport on the Dragon's Medallion if you're going to be using that one. Alright, so that being said, we'll get into what you actually need to do inside of the Sepulchre, as well as what you need to bring as well. So, you see that I have a bone crossbow. This is actually just the lightest crossbow that you could possibly bring. And it's very cheap as well, so there you go. That's a nice little option for you, because you do need a crossbow. You do need a grapple. There is a grapple that allows you to be a little bit quicker, that you can pay 100 marks for. Same thing with a special symbol. You do need a Saradomin symbol if you don't have this necklace slot. Each one of these items actually counts as a Saradomin item. Inside of the Sepulchre, you do want at least one Saradomin item on you at all times. Otherwise, you can't refill your run energy inside of the Sepulchre, which is perfectly fine, considering the run change a year ago or so. This came out before that, so previously you used to have to almost always refill your run energy. Nowadays, you don't really have to actually worry about that all too much. Nice and easy. So, there's a stranger here, and if you're a UIM, you can actually store all of your stuff here. Makes it nice and easy for you. If not, you can just keep it in your bank. What you're going to want for the optimum setup is your rune pouch. I fill mine with Cosmic, Natures, and Lava runes. This acts as a fire and earth. You don't need the extra slot, and in fact, you might actually get runes inside of the Sepulchre as well, because they do have some looting going on. So just bring 3 slots. This is for your enchant spells on your spellbook. You want your highest available one. So if you don't have Onyx, which uses 20 lava runes and 1 cosmic per cast, you can always use level 57, which is diamond, and then hopefully you're not trying to do this with 49 magic, because this is a little hard. Also, I'm pretty sure Sins of the Father requires much more than that. So you should be able to use the Onyx enchant spell. That will get you the best chance of getting through the portals, as well as the best EXP. You won't have any hallowed marks, or be looking like me or this fellow here. So don't need to worry about this slot. You can bring the Imcando hammer, or a regular hammer, if you don't have the wieldable one. You can grab your herb sack as well, if you need. There's going to be herbs coming from the coffins. You can grab your saw, because you're going to be building with some mithril nails and some oak planks. If you check your plank sack here, I've got 28 oak planks in there. Nice and easy. And then this prayer book is from ooh, Trouble, no, not Trouble Brewing. The quest where you get the barrel chest anchor with the pirates. If you don't have that done, that is going to actually heal you from poison, which is kind of important inside of here. If you fail one of the coffins, if you're not doing looting of the coffins, you don't really have to worry about the prayer book. You don't have to worry about the nails. You don't have to worry about the saw. You don't have to worry about the planks. This is all for looting the coffins. You don't have to worry about the herb sack. You don't technically need a hammer, and you wouldn't technically need runes. So if you don't want to do any looting whatsoever, which, by the way, does give you thieving EXP, prayer EXP, magic EXP, all sorts of really great high-level EXP, I do definitely recommend looting. But if you want the highest agility EXP per hour, you can always forego all of the looting and just run straight through and leave as soon as you finish, and you'll be all set. But if you have finished the Great Brain Robbery, which is, it just came to me now, that is the name of the quest. If you've finished the Great Brain Robbery and you've got your barrel chest anchor as well as the really cool prayer book, which is this one here, you can actually heal poison when you're wearing a Saradomin symbol. If you never knew that. So we're going to be bringing that as well, which takes a little bit of your prayer. There is plenty of prayer options. We ran by an altar on our way here that you can refill your prayer at, or you could always use one of the prayer potions that you get from the coffins, because the coffins will sometimes give you a prayer pot or 2 or 3 sometimes. Sometimes they even give you monkfish as well. This is a dangerous activity. For hardcore Iron Man, do be aware that you probably don't want to be watching this and you want to be watching something else because you might get killed. And this is probably not the video for you because I'm not going to go through absolutely everything. So do be warned that you can die in here. You shouldn't die in here, especially if you've done Sins of the Father. You should have over 60 HP at bare minimum, I would say. So nobody should be a level 3 skiller trying to come into here. That being said, you shouldn't die, you won't die, and there's lots of food drops as well. These are also 2 bank chests right here as well. So you can always come back to this lobby after every single run, which is what you're going to be doing. As soon as you hit exit, you get teleported right back here, just like you saw that guy a little bit earlier. Just finished his run and then went on another run. So that being said, it is a little dangerous. Do be aware. What else? Oh, vampire dust. Why do I have vampire dust on me? Well, this is for prayer EXP. You want to use 1 vampire dust per brazier. I think they're braziers. They kind of look like these little like torches inside here, but they're like blue flames. You'll see once we're inside there. And you can light them using a single vampire dust per time, and that gets you inside one of the coffin rooms. Same thing with building one of the bridges. Same thing with the crossbow and the grapple. And same thing with the enchant runes. That gets you into all of these coffins and the looting places where you can get these hallowed marks. Again, if you don't want the hallowed marks, if you don't want the ease of access of looting the coffins or anything like that, then feel free to forego all of that equipment and just run straight through, because you don't technically need actually anything at all. The ring is probably going to be one of the most sought after ones, as well as the focus. Focus allows you to get through the portals, I believe, a little bit faster. Symbol, grapple, and focus, I believe, are all 100. You don't necessarily need the token. This adds time because you are timed during this. This is the teleport. It only costs 1 hallowed mark. So do grab some of these. Hardcore Iron Men actually use this teleport quite often because it's quite quick. The focus is 100. The symbol is 100. The hammer is 100. I think the ring is 250. Yes. And so this actually will allow you to, if you get hit by one of the obstacles, not get sent back to the start, and you kind of get sent back to the start of the obstacle itself. Makes things a lot more forgiving. If you are having trouble with learning Sepulchre, or you're having trouble with understanding RuneScape movement in general, my first item that I would get from this person is save up your marks for 250 and get the ring first. Because if you're having trouble, this will save you. This also prevents you from taking damage inside of here as well when you fail the obstacles, I believe. We'll have to double check. It's been a while since I've done this. The dark die is 300 each, and you need one die for each piece of graceful. So you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dies if you want the full black graceful. So 6 times 3 is 18. So you need 1,800 hallowed marks for the graceful. Seems like a lot, doesn't it? However, if you have the squirrel pet from doing agility, and Sepulchre is actually one of the best places, other than the penguin agility course, to get the agility pet, if you are dry on that, you can always come to Sepulchre and do floor 5, which requires 92 agility, and I don't know why you're watching this video with 92 agility, and you're on floor 5, because you probably already know what you're doing. However, the recolor for the agility pet, which makes the skeleton squirrel, costs 3,000. So it's about twice the amount of time, a little bit less than twice the amount of time than it takes for 2 full dark graceful sets. Because again, dark graceful costs 1,800 in total. Okay, so you'll be here for a while. Get ready. Get buckled down. So, that being said, we're going to jump right in. I don't need food because I've got my ring. I'm going to be doing all my coffins. I'm going to be showing you what's what. You don't need any plugins. This is just sort of a optimization plugin that I have downloaded for RuneLight. I do definitely recommend having RuneLight because you can see your true tile. If you don't have your true tile enabled, definitely enable that as well to your comfort level. Anything else? That should be it. That should be it. Fun fact, you do need some agility levels for getting inside of the Sepulchre. Where is the... Did I pass it? Oh, here it is. It's all the way at the bottom. That's why. You need 52 to get the floor 1. I would not recommend doing Sepulchre until at least 72. I believe you'll probably have around 70 agility by the time that you finish Sins of the Father. You might have 60, might have 70, but you should have around that area. I believe there's some quest requirements that require agility. So, don't do Sepulchre if you can only access floor 1, floor 2. You can use Summer Pies as a boost. Coming soon to a theater near you. They are going to apparently be changing Sepulchre to make it a little bit easier. They might be changing a few mechanics. So if you're watching this a month in advance, 2 months in advance, they might have already changed that by that point. They are also going to be allowing you to boost for floors. Right now, you can't boost. So at my 87 agility, if I ate a summer pie, I would be able to access floor 5. However, that is not the case currently. So I'm not going to be showing you floor 5. Again, if you can access this with 92 agility, you should already be doing Sepulchre or something similar. And again, probably don't watch this video because you're probably going to be much more knowledgeable about agility than I am, right? So this is just for people that want to learn floor 1 through 4. Nice and easy. You are timed during this, so try to keep up the pace here, ladies and gentlemen. It can be a little difficult, or you can get a little, how should I put it? Triggered. You might want to put a fist through your monitor or slam your head against the desk. Please do not do that. Remember, patience, patience, patience. It takes time, it takes effort, and the more that you put yourself out there and the more that you put yourself into situations like this, the more comfortable that you're going to be. It is okay to fail. It is perfectly okay to fail. Okay? That is what we're going to be doing here in some of these practice runs is you are going to fail at some of these obstacles. It won't come easily for you, and you might see me fail because I'm a human being too. So don't get too triggered. Please remember that this is something that is kind of designed for high level movement, for the understanding of movement in RuneScape. If you aren't already familiar with a lot of these mechanics, like L skips, like skipping axes at Vardorvis, Theater of Blood mechanics as well, with a lot of the tornadoes and doing the corners. Again, you might find yourself struggling at some certain points during this. Do not panic. Do not get frustrated. Okay? I was there myself. I had to brute force myself a little bit through things like this. You will get there. I promise. I promise, I promise. That's probably why you're watching resources and guides like this. That being said, we're going to give this guy a bow because he's waiting for us. You can pay for a private instance for 200 hallowed marks. I don't think you need to do that. That just makes it so that these traps aren't being set off. You can turn on your music. There's some pretty cool music in here. And you're going to find obstacles each time that you go through here. So you're going to go through each one of these little areas, and obviously I'm allowing these obstacles to sort of come at me so that you can see that this is just a statue shooting crossbow bolts. But when you're done that, you just go to the next one. You can see your time here in the top left-hand side. You can see some broken statues here. I've got a tile marked right here in the middle. And you just sort of make your way and take your time. If you feel comfortable with running all the way through these statues to like a safe spot like this, feel free to. If you notice, each one of these ones has a little blast symbol here. If there's a broken statue, obviously they're not going to be blasting anything. That's how you get through. Easy and simple. This is floor 1 with the least amount of rewards for the coffin. That's where it is. If you were on the other side, which has a few different other obstacles over on the other side, you'd be coming down from these stairs and building a bridge. This one has a grapple. So this is where you'd be using a grapple. We've got 30 seconds left. This is Run Restore. You can activate this if you have a Saradomin symbol on you. It refills your run. Or you can actually exit. I do not recommend exiting on floor 1. It's not a lot of EXP per hour. You'll see an EXP drop, 500. Not bad for 27 seconds, right? So, more statues with crossbow bolts. You can download a plugin to mark these. You can mark them yourself as well with the object IDs. These will send you back if you run into them. However, They are rather forgiving. That sword just threw. So as soon as the sword gets thrown from the statue, that's when I usually go. You can go right there as well. As soon as the statue is receiving the sword, you can actually dodge the sword. And you're going to be seeing me do that as well. This is where you use a vampire dust. Sacrifice 1. And you can get some thieving EXP if you have the proper thieving level for the floors. That's where you get poisoned if you fail. You can get a strange old lockpick from here, which is a collection log slot. That's used for barrows and a few other things. Floor 2 has a basement floor with, on this side, more crossbow guys. Each one of these different sections has a different course. So you will find yourself actually getting a little bit of variation during all of this, whether or not it's floor 1 or floor 2, floor 3. It usually will not be the same. Floor 3 is where things start to spice up a little bit. You stand in a safe spot, and you can go over this way. Use your grapple, and there's a coffin right here. The other side, you would come from this side here, and you can actually use the grapple on that side right there. I got some ranor weeds, so let's actually fill that. Fill that. And make our way back over. There's sometimes NPCs here at the coffins as well. You may find some of the original creators of things like Sepulchre. This you can just run right through. And this, I will show you the sword mechanic. It's going to come right back to the statue. As the statue is receiving it, we're going to run as soon as the statue is receiving it. I went a little late there. And you can still see the green circle. Wrong object. You can still see the green square of where the sword was. However, I had already started running. And so that's how you could actually tell that I was going at the same time that the statue was receiving the sword, which saves you a bit of time. Same thing with here. These gold swords are going to be the fastest, so do be aware that they will outpace you if you're trying to run before it. I do recommend waiting for them to come back so that you can make it a little bit easier for yourself. It's going to pass, and I go. That's where you use your enchant spells, right here on these portals. You get some big magic EXP. This one's a little hard. It's always left, then right. So start here. Zoom out your camera a little bit if you need to. Now you're in a safe spot. You just saw the left one fire, so you know the right ones are going to fire. I just saw the left ones fire here, so I know the left ones are my safe spot. I'm just dodging these crossbow bolts. Now the right side just fired, so the right side is safe, and I'm at the very end. That one takes some time to do. It takes some time to learn. You've got a little safe spot here in the middle, but do be aware, this one will take a little time for people to get used to, typically. It's a little rough. However, we only have 13 seconds left because I've been moseying about. So I'm actually going to exit on this floor, and we might be getting some different obstacles when we are returning back and going through to the next round. So, I'm going to deposit the medallion and the lockpick. I used the cure poison, and it used one of my prayer points, so I have 98 right now. This is a different side of floor 1. There's a safe spot right here. And as soon as you see the flame stop firing, you can pretty much go. As soon as you see the silver sword return back, these silver swords are very slow. So as soon as you see it turn back, then you can start going. You can just run your way through here and click on the next obstacle. Easy as that. I'm not going to build the bridge over here. I know you can build a bridge if you've got the construction level for it. If you want the hallowed marks, again, feel free to. It's the best way to get hallowed marks is to loot every single chest every single time. I'm not going to do that though. I usually skip at least one. Sometimes I skip two, depending. So, I'm going to go because these silver swords are slow. They're a little bit slower than you, so you can feel comfortable with going before the silver swords on floor 2 or floor 1. That's perfectly fine. The gold ones are a little bit harder, and then as you get towards floor 4 and floor 5, those ones go really fast. So notice how I didn't cure poison the first time, because you can fail it a second time or a third time. You could even fail it 4 times. So just wait until you're done, heal your poison, and keep on going. You can actually do that as you're running too. Now, if you need to take a break during any of this, when you finish a floor, you'll actually notice that up here in the top left-hand corner says pause every single time that you're here. So, feel free to take a break, go to the bathroom, all that sort of stuff, answer the door. Just make sure that you finish and jump across these platforms. There's going to be these platforms at the end of every single floor here so that you can A, refill your run energy, but B, also have a pausing point. Got it? Got it. That being said, I'm going to refill back to 100. Not that we need to. And continue. I see these two guys firing, so I'm just going to step to the end. Now, the fun fact about this one is that you can run through it pretty much any time, right from the start. However, you can actually, if you see this first guy fire, the next time he's not going to fire. So you can actually use that tile right there as a preemptive one. Oops, I went a little too early. So that's when you want to see the sword return back. If the statue is throwing the sword, you can also do that too. Here's West Side. West Side is one of the NPCs that you can see in here as well. How am I supposed to get past this? Well, you get good, my friend. You get good. As West has taught me. So, the sword is returning back. You can click on the conjure portal. You're safe right there. That just uses your runes. Cast your spell for you. Makes it nice and easy. If you've got the runes already in your rune pouch and you have that setting enabled, I believe it already picks up your runes and puts them into your pouch for you. If not, you might have to turn that setting on. Here is the part that a lot of people struggle with. So again, I saw left side fire and then right side fire. That means right side is going to be safe because it just fired. I can run all the way through to the end here. Left side just fired. So I can run to a left side safe spot while I'm dodging these crossbow bolts from behind. I'm just watching the very bottom of my screen there, making it nice and easy by zooming out all the way. You can turn your camera if that feels more comfortable for you. I never learned that way. I just learned north to south and just running with the crossbow bolts coming behind you. You usually have enough time to see what part of the 3 tiles that is safe for you, whether or not it's the middle, left side, right side, all while you're trying to dodge the flames from the statues. Right? Right. Can be a little difficult, but once you get it down the first or second time, you're like, oh my god, that was crazy. Let's do that one more time. And then it actually starts to solidify and you can start to get it down without failing. You will still fail it every now and then. I will still get hit by the flames, or I'll still get hit by one of the crossbow bolts. It sends you back to the start of the puzzle if you have your hallowed ring. Remember that. And you won't be taking damage if you have the hallowed ring. That being said, we're going on to floor number 4. Going to make our way. These lightning spots will stun you. These little blue spots will teleport you forwards, like that. They're kind of hard to time, so don't count on them. And the yellow spots will obviously teleport you backwards, as you saw previously on one of the floors. So, you just sort of make your way going over, dodging these crossbow bolts. Don't really worry too much about the floors, because the floors are timed. And so, every now and then you might get sent backwards a little distance by the floor, but you're really dodging the crossbow bolts there. So, when both of these sides fire, you can use this safe spot, which is a right side, and then a left side safe spot, and then it starts again. Left side, right side, and then they fire at both at the same time. So if you're anywhere in there during this, then left side, then right side, then left side, then right side, then both. If you're anywhere inside during the both, you will be going back. So that's why you try and time it at the very start of the cycle. If you can see the both firing, that's how you know that you're completely safe, because you've already seen the both firing. Oops, I got stunned there. These look like the 5 on the side of a dice. And so you can just stand in the safe spots and make your way to this rug. There's a coffin here. If you're on the other side, this is another bridge. Pass through the portal. Don't forget again that your timer is going this entire time, so you want to try to be a little bit quick about this. Get some thieving EXP. Get some agility EXP just for going through the portal as well. Get some magic for opening up the portal. Get some agility for going down the stairs. So again, this is where Hallowed Sepulchre is really amazing. These blue swords are extremely fast, and this one throws a lot of people. This is the bottom of floor 4. When this blue sword comes back into this statue here, just like we saw previously, that is when you're running. It's easiest if you have the crossbow bolts firing on this side. And I guess Jagex knew that I was making a video, so they just wanted to make it a little easier for me, which is very nice of them. That's not usually how nice those crossbow bolts are. These ones on this side and these crossbow statues on this side, west side, are usually a little rough for people to learn. Kind of like floor 3. However, once you can see that blue sword coming back into that statue, that is when you can run and start dodging your crossbow bolts. The blue sword only stops right here at this gray tile right here. And so as soon as you see that start to swing on backwards, that's how you know. You're technically safe on these 3 tiles right here, and you can start dodging the crossbow bolts if you really wanted to. I don't recommend that though, because again, if you want to be going to floor 5 with 92 agility, which is down these stairs, then you only have another minute or so added on, and you have to really be running through floor 5. However, again, requires 92 agility. You probably don't have that. I also don't have that, so we're not going to be doing floor 5. This is where you activate, if you're out of run energy, you can activate the pillars. Again, you never saw us really run out of run energy or even have that be a concern. And you can exit and get your full amount of EXP. Right? We also got a rune plate body and some adamant bolts in there. Excellent. We're going to throw those in there. And we're going to go back in. You don't necessarily need to resupply every single time. Filling up your plank sack, taking out more vampire dust. You can if you'd like to. However, you can also just run straight in and use what you currently have on you. So, I'm going to try to do more of a typical run. So the flames come back into the statue. That's how you know you're safe. We're going to start to speed it up a little bit here. Alright, and you could pre-click through all of these cutscenes as you're going through the bottom of the floor. You can start to spam left click. This side, you just go over those little platforms. This sword stays there for quite some time, and you can use this grapple to go loot this coffin. You can time that as well, if you need to time it with returning back. That's perfectly fine too. Cool, we got some money. Why not? Just what I needed from my UIM account. So again, tiles, not really all that important because they only will actually start to teleport you for about 1 second during this little animation there. So you can actually run through most times, more often than not, once you start to see that little animation. That's why you don't need to worry too much about the floor tiles. They are just kind of annoying. They just send you back a little bit, but not as annoying as the actual obstacles, if that makes sense. Alright, and we've got the double crossbows. We're going to run to this side, see these guys start to fire, and grapple. This is Collector. He is going for his squirrel transmog for the skeleton squirrel. Max Cape. Thank you for contributions. We love you, Collector. So you can run through all the way to the end. You don't need to use this one tile safe spot. However, if you see this first wizard guy fire, again, he only fires on one of the rotations. So if you're watching him fire, that's how you know that the next rotation is not going to be that wizard firing. Oops, I ran backwards. You see me usually try to run forwards at almost all times during this, rather than running side to side or running backwards. You usually want to try to run forwards. It's kind of like, if anybody's familiar with like a gegenpress in football, total football, you kind of almost always want to be moving forwards at all times. And never passing the ball backwards to your goalkeeper or anything like that. You want to be moving the ball forwards. We're being timed in Sepulchre, so again, do be aware that you may run out of time on your first few runs when you're learning this. That's perfectly fine. Don't worry about that, okay? All good. So we saw the left side fire. I'm just going to run a little bit in here just so that we can practice. Saw the right side fire. Now we're in our safe spot between these two pillars. We saw the right side fire. Oops. I almost clicked forward. And now we're safe, right? Now I can jump to these pillars. I just made that look a lot easier than it's actually probably going to be for you for starting out. Again, practice makes perfect. I've been through this many, many times. 198 times I've been through that floor, and it probably frustrated me for the first 50. So it is perfectly okay to be frustrated with something that does take a little bit getting used to. Some things in life aren't necessarily intuitive, like the timing for these blue portals or these little yellow portals. Not necessarily going to come absolutely immediately. If it does, then great and awesome for you. But the more and more that you do this, the more and more that you'll be able to do things like timing floors like this. Or timing crossbow bolts, and just being comfortable with it as well. Again, I wouldn't be able to make a video if this was my first few times running through Sepulchre. That would be almost impossible to do. I've got these safe tiles marked. I've just marked these out myself. You can mark out different ones if you feel like it. This is going to be the both right here. There we go. You've got 2.5 minutes, so it's not all that bad if you want to wait for that one. Obviously, you can just send it. I usually just send it, but right now we're making a video, obviously, so we're trying to play it safe, right? What is 5 seconds at the end? It's not like we're finishing with 5 seconds left. All right. And again, just sort of playing it safe. You can send this and start to, if you see a bunch of these all firing on one side, you can actually sort of like send it all down the left side here. If you're seeing a bunch of doubles in the middle and the right, feel free, just send it. That's kind of what getting more and more comfortable with this is exactly for. So here's one of those prayer pots that we were talking about. Again, if you don't have an altar in your POH, or you've got low prayer points because you've been failing coffins or something, feel free to use those. I would not go when this blue sword is still out there. You do have to time the blue teleports to be able to pass the swinging sword. However, this guy's going to come out real fast. Do be aware that you are going to need to quickly make your way to this part. The sooner that you can get past these tiles right here on this side, the better that you're going to be. Those blue swords are very fast. They will be a little frustrating. This side has a gold sword, but it is a very long hallway that gold sword is coming down. And I'll try to show you the timing for that one too, just so that you can try to get the timing down for that one too. This might actually end up being a little bit of a longer example video than I thought. All right. So we are going to activate this one, because why not? Post-run changes, and then quick exit. And this guy's still chilling. We're just going to deposit these back. We're going to grab some more vampire dust. I'm going to leave a spot open. And we are going to send it. Oops. All right. I also have my tile that I have clicked highlighted as well, which is, I believe, part of the True Tile plugin itself. You can turn that on or off if that bothers you or you don't like it. But that's also so that you can sort of see where you're going to be stepping. sometimes if you click out into the walls like that, you can actually see where the game is actually going to be putting you. You could technically click through this wall up here, and it's going to be putting you somewhere over. Yeah. I don't even know why you can stand right there. That's kind of silly, but. Alright, we're going to loot this one, see what we get. Perfect. Just what we needed for our 126 combat account. I love some adamant bolts. And we'll just run through to the start. And then right on through. Because as we were arriving, it was finishing. And we can just run right through. Easy. This starts to get a lot more fluid and a lot quicker the more and more that you do it. Practice makes perfect. You're going to get annoyed with me saying that, because that is exactly what a sepulchre is a lot about reaction times. It's a lot about understanding movement mechanics in RuneScape. RuneLight does make it a little bit easier for you as well, doing things like highlighting pillars or highlighting obstacles. But that being said, you shouldn't have too much of a difficult time with it. Might get hit by that one. Nope. Perfect. This last wizard statue doesn't fire. If this one is firing. That first one. And again, you don't need to be tick perfect during this. You're seeing me being a little bit lazy with my clicks. It's also still early in the morning for me. So, oops. And with my hallowed ring, I go right back to the start of the obstacle. So you will see people fail all the time. It's okay to fail, you know? Perfectly fine. I still have 3 minutes for this entire floor. Can wait for the sword to get thrown. Go through my portal. You can still loot these with a full inventory, like you're seeing me do right now. If there's anything like a adamant plate body that you loot from it, it will drop immediately onto the ground, so that you can drop something like a vampire dust and bring it with you if you want to. If you want to. You don't have to. Who says you have to do anything but live, die, and pay taxes? Alright. All the way through to the end. We're going to activate that, because why not? Used to have like 40 run energy by the time that you arrived to that point. Back in the day. Back in my day. Now, this is where a private instance actually does help, because if you immediately click on that square, as soon as you get down these stairs, you will actually time that perfectly. This side is a little bit finicky, and I like it as soon as the sword is thrown, I follow the sword through. There are other ways to do this one, but as soon as you see the sword thrown from that statue, you know that you can follow the sword through the flames, is how I think of this side. This is the south side of floor 4. Floor 3? Floor 4. This one's got a bridge on this side. You can use your planks in your plank sack. If you are using your hallowed hammer, it's much easier to build these bridges versus the Enchant, or however you pronounce it. Could we please open the chest? The coffin. Thank you. So, we're going to drop one of these. Why not? And run on through. As we're running, I'm going to cure my poison, right? So we're saving ourselves time because we're already making our way through. And we get to go to this side as well. This side, I love to think about as soon as the sword is coming back into the statue, you can actually click anywhere down here, and you're going to time it perfectly. Watch all of these obstacles. You're going to absolutely dodge. You may hit a blue portal. Do be careful. But you will actually time it perfectly so that you can run through all of that. So just think about it as soon as you see that sword coming back through and being received by that knight statue, then you can go. Oops. This side has an annoying set of teleporters. This is probably the most annoying set of teleporters before floor 5. Is that little row right there. And again, that's the west side of floor 4. And we were coming down on the east side previously. So that one's a fun one too. You do have a little bit of variation as well when it comes to all these floors. So they try to spice things up a little bit for you. And some Sandfew serum. Sandfew is great if you are going to be bringing it like raiding, but for Hallowed Sepulchre, I'm actually going to be just curing my own poison and then putting that in my bank. So activate the obelisk, exit. Yes, we want to leave. You can, of course, swap the left click if you feel like doing quick exit or whatever have you. You can feel free to swap your left click by using your shift options. That being said, I'm going to run through one more if you feel like staying for one more. If not, thanks for learning. Thanks for coming. Enjoy. Have fun doing Hallowed Sepulchre. We're just going to keep running on through. This is exactly what you do, is you just keep sending it as soon as possible. The quicker that you get back in here, the quicker that you're making EXP. And the quicker that you get to the end of this, the quicker that you can be doing something else that is beneficial, makes more money, is more fun for you. Maybe you finish the account because agility is the very last thing. Who knows? But this is the fastest way to get agility EXP, so that's why you would be doing something like this. If you don't like agility, may seem a little bit counterintuitive because it's very intensive. However, again, oh, we get to show a new side. Here is the west side of floor 2. Some of these sides I didn't get to show. Obviously, you may not quote-unquote roll one of these sides, and you may actually come down one of the same sides on one of the floors every now and then, twice in a row, 3 times in a row. It's kind of random at where you come down. But you can pay for a private instance if you feel like it, and you won't see anybody else in here. And all of the traps will be starting to fire as soon as you make your way down the stairs. If somebody else has already been on this floor and is 3/4 of the way through, so to speak, then some of the traps might actually be already partly fired by the time that you're getting down here. And as you're timing things on floor 3 and floor 4, floor 5 as well, it actually is very beneficial for you to just be able to spam click through the shadows like this. And I know that I can actually run right through this one because this statue was already firing by the time that I got through the shadows, if that made sense. So I didn't even have to wait on that one because I knew already that if you're being quick, outside and then middle ones, outside then middle ones. There's a safe spot right here at these candles. You shouldn't need it. You should just be able to run right through. But there is a safe spot at the candles. Get through these annoying guys. This one's just a very short corridor. You can practice the sword mechanic where you're going back in. The front fires during these statues, and then the back fires during these statues. It just repeats during that one. And you get to sacrifice. Go in. You can use a high elk if you've got some nature runes and lava runes on you, which you hopefully should. Alright, now we just saw the left side finish firing. I just saw the right side finish firing there, so I'm just going to wait right here. And I know that as I'm running with these crossbow bolts, as I'm running alongside these guys or have them right in front of me, there's not going to be anything behind me because there's a delay between the statues. So if you are running behind the crossbow bolts, that's how you know that you are perfectly safe and that you don't need to worry about dodging left or right or going into the middle. And that may seem difficult, but again, it gets a lot more intuitive the more and more that you expose yourself to something like going when the sword or axe is returning into its spot. Which again, if you're familiar with Vardorvis and doing axe skips on the axes that Vardorvis uses, you are doing the same mechanics when that sword is arriving into the statue. That is exactly what you're doing by doing a little bit of a skip. You can actually skip these crossbow bolts too. It's just a little bit harder to do. And again, you kind of don't want to mess up during this. So if you are skipping, it might be on accident, or it might be because you're cutting things really close because you're getting really good at this. But that being said, hopefully you should be able to actually have plenty of time to get through all of these obstacles. You can just sort of piecemeal it out. Just take it tile by tile. Look at what's coming in front of you and just sort of make sure that you can dip, dive, and dodge. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, as they say in a famous movie that is probably copyrighted. So, I have full faith in you. If you can get into these coffins, unlike myself, and get rewarded with some monkfish. Wonderful. I have full faith in you and your abilities to be able to do something like this. A lot of people say it's too hard, it's too intensive, it's too triggering, or it's too intense of a difficulty for me. It really isn't. There's just a few things to remember. Again, this side, as soon as you see this blue sword coming back into the statue, just try to time it with these crossbow bolts here. Even if it's the left side, you just run to the left side. I just run to the middle there, run to the left, try to keep up the pace so that the sword doesn't bite me in the butt, right? And I'm safe. I've got plenty of time. I've got 2 minutes left. I got 2 minutes. So, you have plenty of time. You can even examine some of the cool objects in and around Sepulchre, or see some of the NPCs. There's also a few notes that you can get from some of these that you might find a few friendly ghosts if you're wearing a ring of visibility. You can get nice things like snapegrass seeds, ranar seeds, soul runes, blood runes, law runes. They can get high elks, and if you go to floor 5, you can actually loot the grand coffin. That's at the very bottom of floor 5. And get a chance at a 1 in 2,000 at the agility pet, or the Ring of Endurance, which is over at least 1 mil. It might even be close to 2 mil these days. And again, you're doing agility, so that's unheard of making 2 mil while running agility laps, right? A lot of people will put a monetary amount on doing crystal shards, because you can make divine potions out of those. Can't necessarily trade them, but you can make them into divine potions, which you can trade. So a lot of people put a monetary amount on the crystal shards, but here at Sepulchre, you can actually make a decent amount of money. Hey, world. GM. That being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little bit of something. If not, then you probably already knew what you were doing. Congrats. I hope you have happy running times. Remember, again, this might take you a little bit. This might take you a little while. It might take you an hour. That's cool. It might take you 1 week to get comfortable with. That's perfectly fine too. Or it could take you a month or a year, and that is alright too. So, that being said, get out there, get into Sepulchre as soon as, or Sepulchre, however you'd like to pronounce it, as soon as you finish Sins of the Father, and you can come do this. Really easy, really fun. Make some money. You could do some farming runs. In between, you could do birdhouse runs. You get all sorts of supplies with it as well. So Ironmen are really happy doing this sort of content. UIMs love this sort of content as well, because you can store your equipment. You can come here at any time. It's very free. And that being said, enjoy. Have fun.